Hey there, abundant artists. It's Jennifer Joy, your abundant artist mentor, helping you get out of your way so you can make more money. And I don't know if you've ever been in any of these situations where you've done something, you've had this burst of emotion or feeling, and then you've regretted it later. Or maybe you've been in a situation where you've just felt really flat and uninspired and unmotivated, and it's been really challenging to do your creative work or even just make it through the day. Or maybe you've been stuck in the same emotion day after day after day, and it's not exactly an emotion you want to live with for the rest of your life. Or maybe you're riding the wave, like you're up one day and down the next, and up one day and down the next. Well, right now we are going through a time that brings up a lot of emotions. And I'm coming to you today because I've noticed in the past 10 days that I have had clients who are seriously on this emotional wave. And they've come to my sessions, the private sessions, and they've been crying, they've been upset, or they've told me that they are completely flat now and are having a hard time. So I wanted to take a moment to really talk about emotions and actually spend the next 4 weeks diving into how you can really navigate your emotional waves so that you can be more calm, more peaceful, and more productive in your creative work. Now, this has been a journey for me. I remember when I first hired a life coach back in 2000, I think it was 2005 that I hired a life coach. And I had realized that a couple things, but the one that focuses on emotions is that I was realizing that I was angry about a lot of things in my life and in my past life. And I didn't realize it until the specific moment. It was like, oh my gosh, I am so angry. And how could I be angry about these things that happened so long ago and never have noticed it before, never had experienced it before? So I told my friend that I was going to hire a life coach. And she said, oh my gosh, that's great, JJ, because sorry, I have a hair in my way. There it goes. Um, that's great, JJ, because every time I talk to you, you're frustrated. It seems like you're just frustrated all the time. So there I was, stuck in an emotion of frustration, not even really realizing it. I needed someone else to reflect it back to me. And also realizing that there were deeper emotions underneath that frustration that I'd never really experienced before. So I worked with my life coach. She happened to be a fearless living coach, and I am now a fearless living master coach. I've been coaching with Fearless Living since 2006. I entered their program, got certified in 2008, and have really, that's been a big part of my journey, is learning how to navigate my emotions, to bring awareness to them, to process them, move beyond them, and be able to live, a relatively peaceful, happy life. So that's what I want to help you with for the next several weeks in this series. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to a tool that I learned way back in 2005 originally from this Fearless Living book. This is my teacher, Rhonda Britton. She is the founder of the Fearless Living Institute, and I did all my training under her. Again, I'm a master coach and trainer for the Fearless Living Institute. And the tool in this book that I specifically want to talk about is called the 4 A's. The 4 A's. And this is the best way I know out there. And I've been in personal development and working with creatives for more than 20 years. This is the best way I know of navigating your emotional wave, no matter where you are. If you're angry, frustrated, sad, grieving, happy, frustrated. Did I say frustrated twice? Probably, that's mine. If you're feeling depressed, whatever it is, this is the best tool. Even like I said, even happy, you're feeling kind of manic, best tool. So today I'm going to introduce you to the tool, and we are going to talk about the first A. And then in subsequent weeks, we will talk about the other 3 A's. But I'll give you an overview today, and we'll go deeper as we go on in the upcoming weeks. So I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, so this is the tool. I can't share all 4 A's at once, but there it is, the 4 A's. And let me actually go down to the bottom for a second. Practicing fearlessness, which we aren't going to go in the definition of that, but basically it's living your best authentic life. means making conscious choices. When you have the power to choose to process feelings rather than to stuff, avoid, and ignore them, or on the other side of the spectrum, let them explode and get the better of you. When you're able to choose, you are setting yourself free to live the life your soul intended, which is the tagline for Fearless Living. Live the life your soul intended. So let's go back up here to this first A, which is acknowledge your feelings. Acknowledge your feelings. The second A, and like I said, we'll go deeper into these in coming weeks. The second A is allow time to process your feelings. The third A is ask what you are committed to. And the fourth A is to act on your commitments. So let's dive in to this first A. I wish I could expand it and get rid of the others right now. But anyway, the first A is to acknowledge your feelings. Now, for me, I knew I had frustration, but I didn't realize I was frustrated almost all of the time. And I hadn't realized I had anger. And quite frankly, what had happened through the years is I'm a person who tends to ignore stuff, avoid feelings. That's my natural tendency. And it's due to fear. We're not going to get into that discussion now, but it's this fear of being vulnerable and being seen as weak. So I have a tendency to avoid and stuff, and I'm fine, no problems with me, I'm okay. So for me, years and years and years of that, because it started when I was very young, years and years and years of that gave me a very narrow emotional spectrum. So not only was I trapped in this feeling of frustration, had these feelings boiling underneath that I didn't even know about, but I wasn't, because my spectrum was so narrow, I wasn't actually able to experience a lot of joy and contentment and satisfaction. And satisfaction is big for me. It's a big signature for me of looking at my life and seeing where I'm satisfied and letting that guide me. So by not acknowledging my feelings, I was stripping myself of all those wonderful emotions, even though it meant that I might have to experience and acknowledge the ones that I didn't want to feel as much. But that is what gave me the freedom to experience all of the emotions. And as we move through this, to choose how I move forward. So I'm going to share you, this was revolutionary. So here I am, I'm stuck in frustration, but I know there's anger there, not feeling very happy, satisfied, content. And my first coach, Fearless Living coach, Candy, she introduced me to a feelings list. And Fearless Living has their own feelings lists. If you Google online, you can search on feelings list and get a feelings list if you'd like it. Yet here I'm going to share with you the feelings list that I have put together that I use with my private clients. And what the exercise is to go through a week, every half hour, jotting down what you're feeling. Now, for me at first, that would have been frustrated. Yet having a feelings list, wherever you get it from, really allows you to get more nuance and to begin to expand that spectrum. So let me share the list that I use with my clients. Let me get that up on the screen. So this is the list I use with my clients. So it has, I don't even know how many feelings on it. And then it also has room to jot in some of your own. So basically, keeping a log for a week, checking in with yourself every half hour and looking on this list to see what you are feeling or coming up with your own feeling. So here, I'm right here in the second column. If I go down, because they're in alphabetical order, I see frustrated. All right. So that's what I thought I was. What I found out I was most of the time. Yet when I started working with a list like this, I could get that nuance in there. So I was like, okay, frustration's there. I know I've got some anger, but what else is there? And what might come up is bitter, or maybe I felt defeated, or maybe I felt inadequate. Inadequate. Or maybe I felt melancholy, or tense, or trapped. All right. So those are some of the negative emotions. And of course, there are a number of positive emotions, and I use those terms loosely, but the feelings that we really enjoy more. So then once I started sussing out where I was on this emotional spectrum, I was allowing more awareness. And so those moments when I was feeling happy, I was catching them in my log. It was like, oh, wow, here I am. I'm not frustrated. So how am I feeling right now? Am I excited? Whoops, I got two. Am I excited? Am I, let's see, optimistic? Am I feeling wanted? That's a good one. Am I feeling determined? Or am I feeling beautiful or brave and capable? All right, so that's an example of the feelings list. So I encourage you this week, whether you're riding the emotional wave or not, I encourage you to check in with yourself every half hour while you're awake even. Get a feelings list, check in with yourself and jot down your feelings. Notice the patterns that are coming up for you. Because the other thing I noticed is, and we're going to get to this next time, is that if I acknowledged the feelings and moved through it, there was usually something juicy on the other side. And that's how you move into more creativity, more inspiration, and motivation. But it starts with this first day. I'm going to come back to it. It all starts with acknowledging your feelings. So that's my challenge for you this week. Get a feelings log or a place to log your feelings. Get a feelings list and go for it. Start keeping track of your feelings. Now, like I said, I was given the task to do it every half hour to really allow me to see the spectrum of what I was feeling. If that's not possible for you, maybe do it at each meal. Start there, or maybe 5 times a day or every hour, whatever works for you. But I cannot wait to hear what you discover when you start acknowledging your feelings and naming them and seeing what comes up for you, and how much more, oh, I don't like the word in control, because the 4A's is not about controlling your feelings. I think I'll use the word confident. How much more confident you feel when you know what's happening and you're gauging it before it explodes. What's coming to mind is like preparing before a hurricane or something. Not that you're preparing for the explosion, you're actually catching it before it becomes an explosion, or before I have periods of depression, before it moves into a long period of depression. You're catching it earlier. So again, I can't wait to hear how this works for you. Please leave in the comments any insights you might have. And if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I hope to be back with you live next week and not on recording. We had some tech glitches today. This is my third type of app that I'm using to try to record this. It's been a challenge today, but I'm rolling with it because I'm in touch with my feelings. A little irritation, but just moving on. So I hope to see you next week when we tackle the second A. In the meantime, get out there, express yourself, get in touch with your feelings, and share your spark. Bye-bye, everyone.